Dzień dobry, witam na gorących krzesłach Baltic Nuclear Energy Forum. Ja się nazywam Olga Długokęcka i zapraszam na rozmowę. Moim gościem jest Eacker, wiceprezes do spraw nowych projektów jądrowych w firmie Westinghouse. Będziemy rozmawiać o nowym rozdziale w polskiej energetyce oraz roli Westinghouse w tym projekcie. We are here to discuss one of the most important energy projects in Poland history. To start, could you explain what is your specific role in this project?
So I have two roles in this project. One is for Westinghouse. I'm responsible for all our European, Middle Eastern, and Asian new build nuclear reactor projects.
Okay.
Then second, I am the project director for the Lubiatowa-Kopalina project for polskie elektrownie jądrowe. And I'm also the consortium director for the Westinghouse-Bechtel consortium that's going to be constructing the plant.
Wow, this is great responsibility.
It's a good job.
Poland has chosen the technology for this first power plant, and looking at other similar projects happening across the Europe, how does the Polish project compare?
Poland has been doing an excellent job of being the front runner in new build, especially considering Poland is not a nuclear country.
Definitely.
And I work as well with the Bulgarian project at Kozloduy. I work with the Netherlands, who's looking at more nuclear. I was just in Slovenia this week talking to Gen Energia and the Slovenians. So there's a number of countries that are talking to us about adding nuclear power. But Poland has done a very good job of putting in place regulations, of putting in place a financing structure, achieving the European Commission approval. They've been working with IAEA to ensure that they align with the guidance from the International Atomic Energy Agency. So it's been a very nice, well-rounded, thought-out project. And I think that you're seeing the results, that the state aid approval in December, we're nearing conclusion of a engineering procurement and construction contract, and the client is about to submit their application for a construction license to PAA, the nuclear regulator. So in my opinion, it's been well thought out and well run. There's hurdles all along the way. It's a complicated process, but it's been a very well done and committed project by the Polish government.
So you are perfectly aware that nuclear energy is the most significant topic in Europe right now.
It's a very, very high on the agenda, yes.
Could you explain the specifics of your technology?
So our technology is the first passive system, which is different. Our technologies in Europe, whether they're in that Krishko plant that I was in Slovenia yesterday, Sweden, they were second generation technologies. This is a passively based third generation technology. And the biggest difference is it is significantly smaller. There is significantly less equipment. There's less pumps, less valves, less pipe. And so what you're seeing in China and America is record-setting operational performance because there's less maintenance to do. There's less equipment. And it relies on thermodynamics in an accident situation to remove the heat and keep the reactor cool. The head of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission stated that if Fukushima happened to an AP1000, that reactor would be operating today. There would have been no issue. The reactor protected itself for 3 days with no personnel action. Then you only have to hook up a small portable diesel generator, a pump, and pump some water into a tank to allow the reactor to continue to protect itself. So I personally call it a more elegant design, and it's quite compact.
And it's safe.
And it's extremely safe.
Yeah, in Poland we have more concerns about safety because our history and history with Chernobyl. So it's very important that you're saying that this technology fits for us.
In our opinion, it's the safest in the world.
A lot of local businesses are helping with this massive work we're talking about local content very often. What is your opinion of the Polish companies that are involved in the project so far? Could you say some more about this cooperation?
Sure. Well, after Fukushima, I personally went into the oil and gas business for 7 or 8 years because the company I worked with was not going to pursue commercial nuclear power at the time. I ended up using a lot of Polish manufacturing firms personally for my oil and gas work, and I found they had a very high productivity, cost effectiveness, and good quality. We now are working with those same Polish companies, and I think the results can demonstrate it. The press called them the Magnificent Seven when we signed contracts with 7 Polish manufacturers 18 months ago. 6 of them, the shipyard right behind us, chose not to keep going because they're co-owned by the same group, and the Gdynia shipyard, EPG, kept moving forward. But the 6 of them have progressed to the point that we originally thought they would only be able to provide work for the 3rd plant of this Choczewo site. Now, over half the equipment for our modules will be Polishly manufactured for the 1st unit, and all of them will be manufactured for the 2nd and 3rd units. So I think the progress says my opinion that the Polish companies have done extremely well adjusting their methodologies to our requirements. As Mr. Waszczyk said here in this conference, they're in the phase 3, the final phase, where they're doing mock-ups, demonstrations of small pieces of the equipment. Can they manufacture them the way their processes now say they will? And then we intend to this summer award full contracts, assuming we can get good prices for the modules. So I think it's been very successful. We're also using a number of service companies. We have a local Polish firm that is helping us put together a Polish construction law permit application with a design of the AP1000 in Polish, in metric. We use translation services. We have 3-dimensional models we've been working with companies. We have a video flyover we're doing with our client using a Polish company. So we've been spreading a number of different areas where we're engaging the Polish local economy, and we've been pretty successful. There's been a few glitches, but that happens everywhere. So.
You said very much kind of words about Polish companies. That's very nice. But looking ahead, do you think the Polish companies have a chance to work on other nuclear energy projects across Europe, for example?
Absolutely. And so as Westinghouse, what we're trying to do is we're trying to establish we have a global, regional, and local supply chain. And we see a bunch of the Polish companies going into that, not just the local supply chain, but our regional supply chain. If you look at those other countries I talked about, Bulgaria, Slovenia, the Netherlands, Finland, Sweden, all of which we're talking to, many of them are not as industrialized as Poland. And so we believe that there's a lot of work that they can do beyond this one project here an hour west of Gdynia. In particular, as Westinghouse alone, we've grown from 0 Westinghouse employees here 5 years ago to over 500.
Yeah, I have heard.
And so we see Poland as a very good source of global work. And of those 500 right now, 400 don't work on the Polish project. Oh. They're working on our other global projects and our support office.
Polish people?
But they're based in Krakow, yes. Well, they're actually from all around the country. That we have a policy for most people that you should work in the office 2 days a week minimum. and then you can work remotely 3. Most of them are what we call anchored out of our Kraków office, but a number now are in our Warsaw office. And then we expect to open up a northern office here in one of the Tri-Cities in the near future with our client, Polskie jądrowy, who just opened an office, and Bechtel, our construction partner.
Oh, this is very interesting information. Thank you for that. But I'm curious, is Westinghouse have more plans to develop in our country? You said there you have to open another office because you expand. So do you have more plans in nuclear field in Poland?
Well, the majority is what we've been talking about, which is making the Polish supply chain part of our global supply chain and having Polish, we've gone from 0 engineers to 60 engineers in country, and we can expect to continue to expand that for work on not just this project, but hopefully the second site here in Poland, as well as in the surrounding European countries. So we have very bright future prospects for Poland and Westinghouse.
Fingers crossed. Thank you for your time.
Yes, we'll keep our thumbs tucked.